What is happening, everybody, man? Thank you guys tuning in to another episode of One Big Fire. We got the boys in the house, and we also got Mr. Nick Krem. Welcome, brother. So excited. We this is literally one of those. We should have went live 15 minutes ago. But nonetheless, we are here. So super excited being able to have you on and definitely, seeing everything all over social, but being able to chat with Al a couple times about the experience that you guys had built at sea. And speaking of events, we've got one of our best events ever. One of the things that we all have a little piece of helping create over the last 20 years, Agent to CEO, coming back to the land. We are just about 5 weeks out, Al? Gearing up.
It's 5 weeks from Thursday.
Giddy up. So if you guys have not got your tickets yet, I was actually talking to DJ this morning and he's like, dude, I think I'm coming. I was like, dude, you need to come.
Yeah.
And so I was like, get over to honeybadgernation.com. You can go over there and get your tickets to Agent to CEO. Al, we still have any VIPs or are they out the door? Are they gone?
We have like 8 VIP seats left. Those are about to be gone probably by the end of the week. We also have a lot of sponsorships flying right now too. And it's just like anything in real estate. You throw an event in the last 4 weeks, you sell a bunch of tickets. In the last 2 weeks, they're gone.
Yeah.
So,
and then the last couple of days, you got people begging for a ticket.
Yeah. And you got people begging for a ticket, right? And the thing is, and I'm glad you brought that up because this is an event where we can't actually fire marshal won't allow us to put more people in the room. Right. It only really with the way we have this set up to make it as special as we have is like a cap. We're selling 100 tickets. That's it. Because then we have to have room for staff, our sponsors, and then 120s max. Like we're shoulder to shoulder. So it's a magical event. Speaking of magical events, I just spent one of the most, I'll just use it because I don't throw this word out, literally life-changing. We saw a lot, not just mine. I saw an entire rooms of people come together like I haven't seen. And Jay, John, that one of the things that you guys have done from day one is you didn't just throw an event to teach a bunch of people how to sell a bunch of real estate. Your events were an experience. Mm-hmm. People left changed. They also left building relationships that are still, the strongest relationships you'll have. And that's kind of what you guys, so thank you. I'm grateful for you guys laying the groundwork for that because this is what we're doing and continuing. And we get to see people like Carlos, Veronica, and Gil and their entire group throw this thing together on a cruise ship.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I don't know about you, Nick. I was not excited to go, not because I didn't want to see my family. I love my family down in my Orlando, Florida family. It was because I'm not a big fan of cruise ships. It's just being stuck on a cruise ship doesn't seem fun to me. I'm wanting to go out and explore and do things. But man, wow, I am so grateful that I was encouraged to go there. And I opened up, Nick closed, and he lifted that entire ship off the water there, bro.
Yeah, that was my first cruise ever, so I really did not know what to expect. I was a little iffy going into it too. As I've said before, I took 2 years off of any in-person events, turning down specific events, and this was kind of our kickoff back into it. And it was it reminds me of that Key West event that I always bring up 7 years ago, where I left, quit my job, started the business, and it just felt like one of those events.
Let's dig right into that, Nick, because really. There's a lot of people that follow us that know your story, a lot that don't.
Yeah.
And I love because you actually started your keynote out with that. And, for people that are listening to this, like, why are we listening to this guy? Who's Nick Krem? What kind of last name is that? It's not his real last name, but it's an easier one to say than Krempansky, right?
Because you didn't even say it right. Yeah.
That's exactly why he shortened it to Krem. So just kind of start us over, brother.
Yeah, man. 7 years ago, I was working at Al's call center. I actually got started off calling 15 hours a day. That's how I got initiated into the real estate industry for up to 18% more. I could say that shit in my sleep. But, Al eventually started running the call center. Al invited us to a mastermind in Key West. Well, he invited us, got us an Airbnb, my brother and I. He kind of snuck us into this event. I still remember John looking at us John Kitchen's here, and he like wrote our name in Sharpie and like sat us like at the table there. We went into that event. I felt like I was the most out of place person in the room because statistically I was. I left there thinking like I could take over the freaking world. Like you guys literally laid out a roadmap and said, this is all you need to do in order to make money and to be successful. And then the little naivete in me, I went back to the room. My brother, I had this huge whiteboard. I started having this like, I was like a mad scientist writing out, we're going to do it differently. And my brother, if you guys know Michael, but he sat back and just watched me go. He didn't try to stop me. He just watched me go. And at the end, he's like, what makes you think you could do it any like better than them? Show me your proof. But he's like, what if we just did exactly what they told us? And lo and behold, that's what we did. We grew our first business into 13 countries in all 50 states. At one time, we had a 7-bedroom content house in Orlando, Florida. Jay came down to it, literally turned the whole place into a video studio. And then we launched the world's first AI certified agent and created this institute. We're now an international company in this regard, which led us here today.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Just one event, one decision, just being in the right room and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to do it the way that's proven.
Yeah, one event could literally change your thinking. It could also, you could also wake up the next morning with a neck tattoo that you don't know. it can go in all different directions.
Yeah, I definitely got that picture still. But you know what I love even more about that too, Nick. It's the individual that brings you and puts you in the room. And I'll never forget, you know, I got introduced to Cuz in October of 2004. And it's funny, 100,000 people in our entire county. And like, we had never met each other, but I knew who he was. You couldn't go down the street without seeing a yard sign, a billboard, or a radio ad. And I remember that was the second year of platinum. And I remember writing the check. And you're like, dude, book the tickets, you're going. And I was like, man, that was one of the lessons that has always stuck with me. And that's what I push on to everybody. Is like, when you've got that, when you see talent and when you see somebody you're pouring into them, get them to the events with you. That is, it's life-changing for a lot of people in that regard. And sometimes they would never, you know, it's just awareness, right? A fish doesn't know what's above the water until it gets out of the water. And it's like, you don't even know what's possible until you get into rooms that create a whole nother level of awareness. And sometimes you would never even know to do that unless that individual sees that in you to put you in that room.
Jay, is that signal moment that you're is that similar to, you know, kind of that concept that you went down a rabbit hole on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to share this one publicly.
Yeah.
It got raw, man. It got raw.
Yeah.
It was so unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's like, you'd have to read it, but everyone on this call would appreciate it. I'm not so sure everybody else in the world is ready. This, you know, it was interesting, man. I saw a post where somebody was talking to ChatGPT like it was God, and I was like, okay, well, that sounds interesting. And so I started asking questions about the signal, and you know, like, when we get, you know, when you meet somebody and you're like, you can feel they're vibrating on your level, and you just know, that's the signal. And you know, at the end of the day, there's, you know, it breaks it down into philosophies, all these different philosophies of, was that, you know, how do we get here? And, you know, it goes deep, but anyway, I highly recommend you diving into that. It's a fascinating little journey it's going to take you down. But at the end of the day, it took me into like, you know, like what I feel like my purpose is. Why am I here? What is this all about? What are we trying to do? Like, this feels right, but I think I feel like I should be doing this too, you know, and it was just taking me through a process of, and then delivering frameworks, and like all the way down to like, you know, I'm a big psychedelics fan. So it was breaking down a playlist, and it gave me a Spotify playlist of it breaks down music and how these, you know, these different certain levels of music bring, you know, vibrate at a certain level, and creating a playlist to get into that flow state where you're literally delivering the signal with everything that you do. You're emitting at that level, you're vibrating, and it just fast. I mean, mind blowing stuff, bro. Like it just really, I mean, unbelievable. And so anyway, yeah, you go down a rabbit hole there. That one was about 3.5 hours. So
yeah. Well, I feel like that's just a great point of just like the utilization of AI at a very high level. It's, you have a strategic thought partner, and maybe that was an idea you had at like 1 a.m. And it's like, who are you going to be able to call at 1 a.m. that will be able to vibe at that frequency, go deep on that exact thought, that has a PhD level that and can pull information that you just don't even know exists and connect data points that, look, it would take a lifetime to even get a fraction of that knowledge, and just really using this as a strategic thought partner, and not just input, output, write me this, write me that. It's man, critical thinking with this is where I believe the real magic happens.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So I want to talk about one. I want to talk about something that I don't think anybody's thinking about yet. Maybe you are, Nick. So like I'm looking at all these AI agents that are, that everybody's playing around, and people, like what you said earlier, John, people are making these tools and they're like, I had a guy that I respect, that built a tool. I know he's a real smart tech guy, but he built a platform, and it's making calls on behalf of the agents. And I listened to the call, and I'm like, okay, all right. I was like, well, how much do you think agents will pay for it? I said, I think it's going to be free in 90 days. So I don't think I would spend 2 years doing it. But that's because that's the problem with AI, right? And so, but here's what people are missing. Like, think about how I trust ChatGPT as much as I trust Jay Abraham or anybody else, or God, or my pastor, or anybody else that I've ever talked to. So for the most part, now it's been wrong once. It was wrong the other day, but for the most part, I pretty well trust it with everything, and we all do. And right, so like everybody's got to that point. When you get a call from somebody that's an AI based agent, it's only as good as what information has been fed. But that's where the problem is like, oh, here's all the objections you're going to get on a phone call. But when we start treating AI as like, man, thank God it's not a human, that's when it's going to change the game. And that's going to happen when we start uploading it with the things that it needs to know to have a conversation like we do. Then that's when it becomes dangerous. Right now, that's a manual. Someone's got to build that into the framework. But when you give it all the market information and all of the knowledge that we have and the experiences that we have in our life, when you give it that, and people are going to want to talk to AI. They're going to wish it was AI that answered the phone every time or made the call. And so like, it's going to make people more efficient. Like, it's going to make every real estate team on the planet is going to instantly become more efficient, because it's going to call 100% of the time at the right time. And it's going to follow up, and it's going to say the right things 100% of the time. And the team leader is going to gain the efficiency of that. And that's what's exciting to me, is like, I'm a nerd about efficiency. Like, I like efficiency.
Dude, so like, I love that you just said that. So I hear in Matt and DJ's office, and obviously, they're with Place. So I was overhearing a training call on the sales side of things. And it's one of those, I'm like, I can't stand that guy, but I love that guy. Right. Cause he's like, he's right. But he's also like chewing some ass. And he goes, you guys have X number of market reports and X number of people searching properties. That statistically across all platforms equals X number of business, and you ain't making no calls. And I was sitting back and I'm like, they never will make the calls. They never, ever will make the calls. They're just not going to. And that's kind of, when I look at people that are like, gotta make the calls. And I'm like, they ain't going to do it. It's just not going to make the call. So where that's going to slip in, and Nick, I would love your 2 cents on it. But that's what Jay was talking about there. I was just replaying how that was going down and where that's going to go. And to your point, it's like, as a team lead, I'm going to be like, thank God that this thing can make calls for me, because I know my team ain't going to make calls.
Yeah. It's a high level efficiency problem. Like, when you look at all the scale of all the things that are really inefficient, real estate teams and calling leads is the most, because if you either hire one really good person to do it, and that's not better than your best people that do it, but it's better on average than the bottom 5 people that do it, right?
Yes.
So now let's take that and make it the most efficient you can. It is going to take some adoption by it, but when people know that person is better than a human, then they're going to talk to it like they would a human, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have a couple quick thoughts on that topic. Like, first, you said something beautifully, Jay, is that like, how much would people pay for it? It's like, well, they might pay something for it now, but that shit's going to be free in couple year. Every CRM is going to have it built into it. So like, sometimes, and you guys might not want to hear this, family that is tuning in, just wait. Don't go out there and try to build your own. Go through the hassle of trying to build it. Spend months and months and months behind a computer when you could just be making calls. And this stuff is just going to be coming to you. This is exponential technology, not linear. Linear technology is what man makes, that like we have to think to create it and then work on it and then go on the back end. This is exponential technology that is building upon itself. Like one of my favorite quotes right now, we all heard survival of the fittest, right? That's not the real quote. The real quote is, it is not the strongest of a species, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one most adaptable to change. So if you're trying to be the smartest person in the room and think you're so smart that you can create these AI tools that no one else is thinking of, chances are an AI agent is going to be able to build it quicker. It's going to be done for you and right into your inbox. And on that same note, as far as what you can do to prepare for that moment. So you said something else too, Jay, like what a lot of companies have tried doing, like Klarna, for example. They went 100% AI agents. They lost over $40 billion in their company stock because they went 100% AI agents. And what they did as a mistake is they just uploaded their systems and processes into the AI agents. They didn't go deep into building, and this is what you were referencing, maybe without referencing in it, a company knowledge base. A company knowledge base. That is the most valuable thing that you will have. Your calls that you have with your team, record and transcribe them. Every single phone call that you make, record and transcribe it. Imagine a company knowledge base for your calls, because how much shit have you dealt with where it's like, man, there's no way I can make this up. Like, how can you handle this specific objection? Right. And if it's not on the sheet, AI will hallucinate and they'll do what they try to do and just solve the problem. But if you have your parameters, your scripts, your objections, that's cool. That's good. It gives it a guideline. But then if you have hours or even years of phone calls, like your best phone calls built into it for your language patterns, what to do in these specific situations, and build that company knowledge base. And then guess what? Every time there's a market update, the AI agent automatically feeds the new market update into it. So you don't even have to do that. That's how you build a perfect caller. But then think about this too. So that's outbound. What about inbound? I mean, how many times do you guys get got a minute? Right? Like got a minute from somebody on your team, or just even agents in this ecosystem. Imagine then your company knowledge base, everything you know, built into this AI agent that people on your team can call into. And it's like talking to Jay it knows your mission, it knows your core values, it knows where it's going, it knows how you respond to things. Why? Because you have a company knowledge base. Do not go out there and try to build the entire thing right now. These things are like, they're already being built. They're on the way. What you need to do right now is focus on what would your perfect employee have. All of your calls should be recorded. All of your Zooms should be recorded. Literally just record and transcribe everything and just start building that company knowledge base.
Yeah, it's the I think, understand the concept first, right? And it reminds me of I can't think of his name, but it's They Ask, You Answer, right? So remember he owned the pool company with a couple of his buddies, and he worked the floor, and every time somebody came in and asked a question, he recorded a video and put it up on the website for their FAQs, and everything was recorded. That was like the first of that concept. And so I love what you're saying. And Al, that's what, Kyle, what we talked about Whistle does with his team, is where they record every team meeting. And put it in. Now they have a resource center that everybody can go to. They have all their SOPs. They have everything in there. They have all the scripts, but now they can go search and get the answers and on their way. Exactly what you're talking about. I absolutely love that. There was one thing in there kind of talking about from a team perspective. There was two things, and I want all of y'all's take on these two things. So Brendan Burchard was on Ed Milet's podcast a couple weeks ago. And fantastic conversation. I can't it's one of the best. They talk about doubt and how to work through doubt. Two best in the world to listen to that on. And they didn't get into it, but Brendan said something at the end. Brendan's probably one of the most connected human beings on the planet, right? He said in the next 18 months, roughly 30% of the jobs people working right now will be gone. 30% in the next 12, 18, 24 months. Let that sink in for a second. And then I'm on Roland Fraser's newsletter, Roland's Rift. And of course, he's big in the M&A space. And what they talk about when they see these companies, and he's working with the best of the best, right? High level, everybody consults with Roland at some point. And he said, it's not downsizing or whatever with teams. He says they're pancaking. And what he means by that is they're taking their best human that leads one department And then they build out everything else with AI. So now you have, and what he's even saying is that you're going to see a head of growth, not a head of sales and not a head of marketing, but a head of growth that will oversee all growth and revenue. One person. You have head of company, head of growth. You have head of operations and finance. It's what I did with Cuz. I mean, it's just like you typically bring that skill set with you. And then what he says is the most important new seat at the table, head of experience. He said, that's it. That's it. Head of company, head of growth, head of ops and finance, and head of experience, and everything else will be AI driven.
So I think on that topic too, you know, I think I hear this all the time. It's like a marketer's favorite quote right now. AI is not coming for your job. Somebody using AI is coming for your job. But I feel like the honey badger in me gets ignited when I hear that. I'm like, yeah, give an average mother effer AI and tell them to come take my job. You can't just take an average person and give them AI and they're better than you.
Right.
The people look, if you guys have been working on your skills, working on your habits, working on your own personal development, AI will just become exponential version of yourself. I believe it's still you versus you, but now it's you versus the version of you exponential with AI. It's you AI. So like, if you've been skilled and mastering your specific skill that you can then build into something, you're great. Look, this technology is going to make your life so much simpler. Like, what I don't want people to do is leave a call like this and then go and spend hours and hours and hours behind their computer thinking that AI will help solve their problems. No. What comes to darkness comes to light. All those bad habits that you've been having, AI will not solve them. If you have been consistent, if your habits are good, you've been successful, you mastered your skill, you mastered communication, AI is just going to come in and make your life so much simpler. So now don't go out there and try to buy every AI tool because look, I mean, how many do you see pop up on your timeline? They're all going to solve your problem. Stop working so hard. That's literally going to set you up for failure. Now is the season of skill. Hone your skills, and then AI is going to come in and just make your life exponentially simpler. You're going to be that one human that is selected because of your habits, because of your success, because of your mastery. Yeah. So I think that's just a reframe on. Yeah, go ahead.
I love that. I love that, Nick. So I got a question for you. You know, all of us, you know, lifelong students of it's never the best agent that wins, right? It's always the best marketer. Yep. So where do you see, you know, obviously I told you guys just been down the Gary V rabbit hole lately, but his big thing on the creative, right? So where do you see to break out of the noise with AI where everybody's trying to just do the same thing? Like where does storytelling, where does the direction, where does the creative move into the future to break away from the noise?
I feel like for me to break away from the noise, I mean, just the way that I use AI, I call it the 95-5 rule, right? A lot of people try to go 100% AI. And I like to use this in football terms where it's, look, you let AI go 100% of the way, it's going to fumble on the 5-yard line. It doesn't matter if you go 95 yards. If you fumble or throw a pick on the 5-yard line, nothing else matters. So AI can help in the creative process, in the critical thinking. You can upload your best videos run it through Alex Hormozy, run it through Dan Kennedy, run it through building a story brand, run it through Maslow's hierarchy of needs to help you conceptualize your storytelling ability. But you as the person, as the expert, still have to bring it that 5 yards. So like to really break away, it's that 5 yards. All of those things that used to just take time and just your cognitive thinking and take your energy can now be done 95% of the way. And now your expertise and these skills that you have built is what brings it that final 5 yards. Separation happens at the goal line, right? Whether your team throws a pick, whether you kick a field goal, or whether you get in the end zone. So I think it's that last 5 yards, using it for a 95 yards. And then that last 5, use your skill. And then it goes into, what are you training it to do? Do you have the right input? Do you have the right data? Do you have the right information for it to be able to read and grow? Because you can't just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to write a story for first-time home buyers and then sit there and clap because of how fast it goes, right? No, like the data that you feed this will ultimately either be your success or your greatest failure.
Guys, we just had some breaking news come in. This is mind-blowing. You'll never believe this. Ironically, as we're talking about AI, AOL just announced they're ending their dial-up.
What? They announced what?
AOL just announced they're ending their dial-up service. They're no longer. We can't use a dial-up anymore.
Oh man.
Can you believe that we're having this conversation right now? Now it was announced yesterday, I guess. But I mean, can you believe some people are still using that shit?
You've got mail.
We're talking about expanding our minds into other dimensions that really they exist, but we're able to reach them through the power of this artificial intelligence machine. That's, and the other pinch me moment is, guys, listen, this conversation will be fun to listen to in 2 years.
Yeah.
Even a year from now.
Like,
remember when we were talking about this? Like, you're talking about replacing people. How many times when you're like, we have this computer, right? For how many years we're going on like with our bank and we're listening and we're like, God damn, I just want to talk to a human. Hit 0. Jay, you had said it. Everything's gonna change when people want to talk to an AI agent versus a human. And that's coming. I think in the next 12 months, I'm gonna be 0 wanting to talk to the AI agent because I want to talk to the person. No offense to the Filipinos. I love Philippines. But how frustrating is it when I just want to get an answer to a question that's simple and I have to ask it 6 times because they don't understand how we speak. They don't understand our language. And, and this is coming from someone who hired a lot of overseas people with our call center. Nick, he ended up managing them all.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge, so like, think about this shift that's going to be happening when it happens. But I think you guys made a good point. We're not there yet. Like, I still know when it's an AI agent calling me right now, and there's going to be a lot of disconnects and hangups. But as it gets smarter, and it will, we're going to be rather talking to them.
When
it's going to feel like the AOL dial-up that we're seeing right now. It's like no one would use an AOL dial-up.
Yeah,
it's as soon as you start to trust it more than you trust a human, that's when it shifts. It's just a matter of time, right? So remember, the definition of trust is just authenticity, vulnerability, transparency times time. You just need more time, and you have more experiences. Your people close to you having experiences. They're telling their success and their experiences, and then it catches. It's close.
And it's just a frame. It's like, well, I don't know if we'll ever get there. I mean, there was a time when you don't give your credit card number online to random people. You don't get in a car with a stranger. And now that is literally Uber's entire business model, and everybody just does it.
We put our kids in Ubers. Are you kidding me?
People are putting their kids in Ubers, like to pick them up from school. So I feel like it's just one of those, yes, it is coming. You might not see it right now, but I just like this simple frame. What will people pay more for? Like, they might say they're afraid of AI, like they're uncomfortable with it. What would someone pay more for? A phone or a phone with AI? A car with AI? Refrigerator with AI? They might tell you one thing, but their money tells you a different story. They see it as more valuable. They see it as an enhancer. And I think one thing that we did cover just really quickly too, that I think will transcend and look good on the future is we are talking about your base principles and how you use it as a thought collaborator, because what's coming next is physical AI. Johnny Ive and Sam Altman combined to be able to create this AI agent, which they say will be the 3rd device that you carry around with you, your phone, your laptop, and this AI agent. The people who know how to collaborate with it to become a higher version of themselves, instead of asking it where the best freaking fast food place is or the best pizza or just filling their dopamine, because this is where we're going to see massive transcendence versus massive descendance. People are going to descend with this technology. Yeah. How many videos do you guys now see that are AI generated? And it's just going to fill it up. And if you're somebody who just consumes, you're going to have a hard future. You're going to be part of that 30% that is cut.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I know you got a hard stop here in about 10, and I want to get to, one of the things I put in my caption was that, a lot of people have been, unless you've been living under a rock, everyone's been doing AI training, and there's a lot of people, there's a lot of good people, some of our Honeybadger friends that do a really great job, you being one of them. But how many times have you stepped out of one of those classes and you said, damn, that just changed my life. Damn, I can see myself reaching the higher version of myself with the tools that I just learned here. I haven't been to one except from last week when I stepped foot on that ship. And I know I speak for all 120 people that were in that room that, you literally, quite literally lifted that ship right out of the water, because it was really beyond. It wasn't, you didn't come up there and preach about this. You know, we had some really cool conversations before we came live about some different AI tools like Whoosy and some of these things that we're using in our business. But, you know, people left changed people. And that's not easy to do. You talked about experience, Jay. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things when we decided that we're going to do Agent to CEO again this year, and we have always focused on experience, but we're also very competitive alphas over here. So we always want to outdo the last year and make it even better, you know, which is hard to do when you're doing some pretty damn good events. And you know, Nick, kind of just really unlocked a lid that a lot of us had on how much we can actually grow and to become better humans. Yeah. And reach that higher self that, at least if you're a grower, we're always looking for. We're always trying to be a better version of ourselves today than we were yesterday. And just to touch a little bit on it, because you're going to be speaking. I mean, literally, Jay, John, my message to you from the ship. What was it? It was like, you know,
Nick's on stage, non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. I said it's non-negotiable, boys. And usually it's like, hey guys, what do you think about this and this? And we like, I just knew you had to deliver the message on that ship to our friends in Cleveland that are coming for Agent to CEO, because, you know, it went beyond growing the business. When you can grow from the heart and soul to your brain second, and it starts to really unlock the potential. The first EGS I went to, it unlocked the potential I didn't even know was there. Yeah. I was around people that were doing things at a bigger level that I didn't even, it wasn't that I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know that there was the level there. It was the fish only knows what's under the sea concept that you had mentioned, John. Mm-hmm. And so, like, give us just a little taste test to how you came up with this concept that we're going to rebrand it. I hope you don't mind, but you know, for this event, it's your perfect day 2.0. If you don't know the perfect day 1.0, you can just Google Frank Kern. You'll see the AOL version of it.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, so I got this solely out of, look, all the research and things we've done, going to Tony Robbins' event. I went to one of his, but researching him, researching Perfect Day. I read the book, Your Perfect Morning, that Jay and everybody wrote here. But look, I was in a point in my life where I needed to make a change, and I've tried a bunch of different things, and granted, you just got to do the work. But what I decided to do, because recently in the last 4 months, I was able to shed over 50 pounds. From there, I was able to stop drinking. I was able to stop smoking cigs. I was able to start just doing my daily habits. When I tell people AI helped me do that, they kind of laugh. They're like, yeah, okay, like ChatGPT helped you do it. I'm like, no, I use ChatGPT to completely rewire my brain. Because one of the best videos that I've ever watched in my life was Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. And I'll break it down for you in this one sentence. You get what you think about most of the time. You get what you think about most of the time. And let's see if I could even share my screen.
I tell you too, it was funny because you and I talked about this. We were at a concert. I don't know if you remember it. It was there in the Colony live venue. Stoney might have been playing, but I remember you and I standing at one of the doors, getting ready to walk back out there, and we were talking about how critical, the words and the lyrics in certain songs that you listen to and you latch on what it does to your life. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but we absolutely. And when Al told me what Nick did, that's what I immediately thought about. I was like, God dang, that's so true.
Yeah. So here we go, guys. It's actually a very simple prompt. I could share this with all of you after, but it's literally like what this allows you to do is, first of all, ChatGPT doesn't have your limiting beliefs. It doesn't have the box that you put yourself into. It can think bigger, right? And what I truly believe in my core is it does not take massive change in order to change your life. It is the compound effect of simple daily habits, right? The compound effect of simple daily habits. So the first one that you do is just like, based on what you know about me, tell me a story of what my life would look like in 5 years if I knocked out my daily activities. Paint a picture of the most grand version of myself, my business, and my personal life. Include specific examples of accomplishments, experiences I can have, and feelings that I have. And then all you need to do is literally bring this over to ChatGPT and copy and paste it in here. Oh, I was writing some Honeybadger stuff before this. And then it's just going to simply ask you, all right, before I get started, what are the 2 to 3 daily habits you believe would make the biggest impact on your life? Let's say, call the damn leads, call the leads 2 hours a day, work out 7 days a week, and eat healthy 6 days a week. Give myself a cheat day. Have family dinner once a week and date night with my imaginary wife, but you guys get what I'm saying. Literally just something this simple. And what this does is it can show you, if you just did your simple daily activities, it can start painting a vision of what your life can look like in 5 years. Some people like come to me like, yeah, but that's a little unbelievable. I'm like, you know, it's unbelievable. You're limiting beliefs and how you don't think if you literally called leads for 2 hours a day, how much that can compound into. Goes into your personal workout. What I suggest that you guys do with this is you sit down and click read aloud, listen to it and bring it to life. And then here's the gut punch. This is the gut punch. There's the second one. Based on what you know about me, be brutally honest. Tell me a story of what my life would look like if I didn't stay consistent with my daily activities, kept chasing new shiny objects, paint the regrets, the feelings. If you want a good cry, like, look, I'm not a wall punch type of guy, but I wanted to break some things after I heard this. Because what this does, it doesn't tell me I'll be homeless and 500 pounds. It basically shows me what average gets me in 5 years, where I would be if I live a life of average. You're still making sales, but inconsistent. That daily 2 hours a call, it becomes when I have time, personal life, what it looks like, and it goes through here. So it's one of those exercises, and I'm telling you, read aloud on this one. You're not going to like what you hear. I can tell you that right now. But do that exercise. But this is where it gets fun. And this is where I'm saying you can literally rewire your entire thinking using this exercise. So I go to the good one, and I simply copy it. And I could say, write me a song in the style of Eminem, Lose Yourself. That's like my ultimate pump-up song. So I just asked ChatGPT, write me a song in the style of, and you can choose whatever artist, whatever song that you like. And it takes your 5-year forecast. And here we go. It'll write me a song. Now, Jay, I'm not going to ask you to go karaoke. I know you're not a big karaoke guy.
Yeah, man. That's not, yeah.
So I'm not going to ask you to like go karaoke and sing this song here.
Yeah.
But what you do is you just simply copy the song and you go to a place called suno.com. It's free to use. You get like 10 songs a day, or it's $8 a month. I pay the $8 a month. It's freaking worth it. You copy the lyrics in, and I could say rap, 90s, rap, upbeat, motivational. So you tell it what kind of song you want to create. And if you have the extend, like the paid version, I can go male, weirdness down a little bit, style up, and then hit create. And then what this does is it literally creates an anthem for your life of what it can look like, what your life could look like, which is simple daily habits. And here we go. I don't think you guys can hear that, can you?
A little bit. Yeah, man. I mean, Nick, you know, what you guys just witnessed right now, and I promise you is like, it's mind blowing to the point where, you know, that was scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Of how deep we're going to go with this. Again, get your ticket to agent to CEO. If you buy a ticket and you come to day one, and by the way, I'm not going to tell you where Nick's going to be falling day one or day two, but I will tell you this: at the end of day one, if you're just not like, man, this was not worth my price for me to come to Cleveland, Ohio, I will not just write you a check. I'll get you ducats in cash and send you on your way back with a full refund. And I know that no one has that because you're gonna be changed. I'm not going to use the word blown away. What's going to happen is you're going to have some transformational shit. Okay. Yeah. Not just in your business, okay, personally in business. And we have some amazing speakers. Nick, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's just the surface of it. What you're going to walk away with is going to really change your life. And here's the more importantly, okay? It's going to give you the tools to change your daughter's life,
Yes,
life, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, whatever it is. And this is exponential. This is how you grow an empire. This is how you grow your kingdom. Okay. And growing through leaders, and you're going to now walk away with the tools. You're going to be a better leader. You're going to be a better mother, a better dad, a better brother, whatever it is. And you're going to be a better entrepreneur. And all of those, I believe, are the bricks we have to lay before we can be a great entrepreneurial leader in your space. So, dude, I love you, Nick, my man. I'm so proud of you. And, it's really, it's things are coming full circle, from the time when I met Mike and Jay and John was my personal coach. And I remember my signal moment was when Mike and Jay walked into my office in Cleveland, Ohio, and were like, "We want to invite you to this mastermind." And I was like, "Oh man, I can't afford to go to that. I just tore my hamstring. I'm on crutches. Shit's bad right now." I had every excuse in the world. And I made the decision to go to the Kentucky Derby on crutches. Like you made the decision to go to Key West. We've all made these big decisions. So this is an easy one. Come to Cleveland.
Come to the land for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, boys.
Nick, brother, I appreciate you. Thank you so much pouring into us as always. And let's get after it. Honeybadgernation.com, and we will see you guys in the land. See ya.
Peace. See ya.